그때 몰랐어 그때 나 혼자인 게 익숙했는지 몰라 you know 몰라 아니면 난 너무 어렸었나 봐 근데 말야
Alright, yo, check it out. We're back again with another lyric breakdown. K-pop lyric breakdown. We got Junkei's Think About You. If I translate that in Korean, why don't you try it? Think about it. 생각해봐, right? 너를 생각해 is probably what you would say in Korean. But yeah, this song, after dissecting, all the grammar rules, I found it's very useful because actually the phrases here are quite easy, and B, a lot of them are very common and useful. So let's check it out. Let's go right into it. All right, first part, 그때 몰랐어, 그때 난. Okay, so first of all, you have to understand what 그때 means. 그때, you hear it a lot in so many songs, and you can use it in your speech as well. 그때 just means at that time. At that time. So when someone asks you in Korean, what would you like in high school? And you say, 그때 나는 스포츠 많이 좋아했어요. At that time, I really like sports. Like 그때. Okay, so 그땐 몰랐어. 몰랐어 is just 모르다 conjugated. Okay, so 모르다, if you conjugate it, 몰라요. Or past tense, 몰랐어요. So 그땐 몰랐어. At that time, I didn't know. 그때 난. The me at that time. That's what it means. Alright, and then our next phrase here. 혼자인 게 익숙했는지 몰라. So let's break it down. Again, something very useful we can use. The vocab here. 혼자 is alone, by yourself. 혼자 있어요. I'm here by myself. Okay. 혼자인 게, I won't really teach you what 인게 is right now. Maybe in a future video, something more advanced. But it just means being alone. It's like making alone kind of a noun instead of an adjective. Okay. So 혼자인 게, being alone. 익숙했는지 몰라. So let's look at 익숙하다 first. 익숙하다 is to get used to adapt to. Okay, so for example, I'm not used to Korean life. 한국 생활 익숙하지 않아요, right? Or conversely, I am getting used to Korean life. 한국 생활 익숙했어요, right? I got used to it. Okay. So here he's saying I didn't know I was used to being alone. I didn't know. So first part is alone, getting used to, and then the verb in Korean always goes at the end, right? Didn't know. Okay, so how do we say didn't know? I didn't know something. Okay. Before we continue on, when you hear the word ji at the end of a sentence, 하지, something like that, usually it's kind of something uncertain, and it's also the case here as well. 익숙했는지, so you add 는지 after the verb. 익숙했, that's the past tense of 익숙하다. 익숙했는지, and then you say 몰라, or you can say 알라. 알라 means no, right? Okay, so if you say, for example, 엄마, I don't know where my mom went. 엄마 어디 갔는지 몰라. So 가 is go. Remember, you add 는지 and then 몰라 at the end, right? So here he just says 몰라 twice. 익숙했는지 몰라. I didn't know I was used to being alone. Alright, and then the next part we have 아니면 나 너무 어렸었나 봐. 근데 말야. Okay, and not too hard here. If you use the word 아니면 is kind of like if not. 아니에요, that means no, right? 면 is like if. So 아니면, if not, right? So if I wasn't used to being alone, he's just saying if the previous phrase was negative. Then 나 is me. 너무, too much. 어렸었나 봐. Very good grammar item here. Not too hard to learn. 어리다 is youthful, young. So 어렸었나 봐. 어렸어요. That means past tense of being young. Okay. 어렸었나 봐. If you hear 나 봐 at the end of something, that means perhaps. Okay, not sure. Okay. So for example, you can say I'm not sure if he did it. 걔가 했나봐. Maybe he probably didn't. Maybe. So here he's saying, I'm probably too young. Okay, I'm probably too young. His explanation for leaving his girl, I suppose. 어렸었나봐. Okay. You can use it for any adjective you want. You can say, for example, 너무 비쌌나봐. It was probably too expensive. 그래서 안 샀어요. He didn't buy it. Okay. So 어렸었나봐. And the last part of this, 근데 말이야. I'm sure a lot of you hear 말이야 at the end of different sentences or end of a song or in dramas and whatnot. 근데 is but. 말이야 is. I don't use it all the time. I know what it means when people say it. It's kind of like reinforcing what they said before. It's like, I said it. That's what I'm thinking of. That's what I said. Okay, so I don't think it's particularly useful for, just like getting to conversational level in Korean. But it's good to know what people mean when they're saying it. Okay, so when people say 근데 or 말이야 or both together, 근데 말이야, but that's what I'm saying. Just kind of know what they're saying. You don't really have to use it. All right.
말야 어떻게 나 이제 와서 느껴지는 나의 무책임함 속에 널 아프게 했고 그런 날 넌 지키려 했어.
Okay, and let's look at the next phrase here. 어떻게 나 이제 와서 느껴지는. So 어떻게 is like how, right? 어떻게 해요? Like how do you do it? Here, if you look at the whole phrase, how come now I can feel? That's literally why he's saying 어떻게. He's not really asking a question to a person. It's like to someone out there. 나 이제, 나 is me, or I. 이제 is now, so now I, right? 왔어 느껴지는. So 왔어 is just 오다, but if you conjugate it, 오다 is 와요, right? 왔어 is like I came here, and 느껴지는, so 느껴지는 is feel it. So I come to get the feeling. So I think a lot of you know 느끼다. Okay, if you conjugate it is 느껴요, right? I can feel. Like 손을 느껴요, I can feel the hand. But 느껴지다, it also means to feel. But there's a slight nuance to it. It's like I get the feel of it. Okay. So he's asking 어떻게 나 이제 와서 느껴지는. How come or how now I can feel. And then let's look at the next phrase. All right, and let's look at the next part of this. 나의 무책임함 속에 널 아프게 했고. So what it literally means is my irresponsibility hurt you. Okay, but let's break it down, and so we can use different bits and parts of it to make our own sentences. So 나의, mine, right? 나 is I, 의 is possessive, so 나의, mine, okay, or my, right? 무책임함. So let's look at 책임 first. 책임 by itself is responsible. Okay? But if you add mu in the front, mu is a Chinese word. It means nothing. It means, so it's kind of like how in English we have like possible, impossible. We add an im in front of something, it becomes like the opposite, or just means negative, right? So mu, if you add it in front of different words, it just means a negative of that. So 책임 is responsible. He's a responsible person. 무책임 is irresponsible, right? Not responsible, right? Some more examples might be, for example, the word for conditions, right, is 조건, but 무조건 is without conditions, unconditional, right? Another one would be, for example, you see this a lot in Korea. 료 means fee. 무료 means no fee, so free. So 무료, if you see that word, that means take as much as you want, it's free. So 무책임함, because 무책임하다, if you add a mium at the end of a verb, okay, it makes it into a noun. So instead of irresponsible, it means irresponsibility. It becomes a thing, right? My irresponsibility, 나의 무책임함. 속에 널, 속에 is inside, right? 속, inside is the particle for the direction. So 속에, inside. 널 is you. with a real at the end, which means your, right? Your insides. I hurt your insides. 아프게 했고. Okay, so the last ending you can kind of ignore it. 고, you know that if you add 고 in front of most verbs, it just means and, right? And in English, you usually don't end a sentence with and, but if you learn one thing in Korean, they use and or but to end sentences. They always say blah 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 하는데, and then sentence is over. In English, as an English speaker, we always want to say and what, but here they just end it with 고, just means and. Okay, but let's look at closely look at 아프게 했다. Okay, so 아프다 means hurt. Okay, 아프게 했다. So if you add 게 하다, it means to make someone. Okay, so you'll need an example for this. So you probably know the word study. Study is 공부하다. But if we say 공부하게 하다, that means make him study. So doing it to another person, right? Not yourself. Okay, so 아프게 하다 doesn't mean hurt yourself. It means you hurt someone else. You made someone hurt. Okay? So 속에 널 아프게 했고, right? I made you hurt inside. Okay, and the last part of this, 그런 날 넌 지키려 했어. But you still want to keep me. Okay, so let's break this down. 그런 actually just means like that. It doesn't really mean but. Okay, but you'll hear it a lot. Just I'm not sure you'll have to learn how to use it in the context that's used here. So, but just understand 그런 means like that. Okay? Just like 그런 인생이야. That's life. 인생 is life and 그런 is like that. Okay? 그런 날 넌 나 너. 나 is me, no is you. But who is doing to what, right? So in here, you put the real after the 날. That means something is done to me. Okay? And then the ni은 is put under the non, which means that you is the subject here. So you want to keep me, not I want to keep you. Okay? So 넌, you, 날, me, right? In Korean, the word orders can be switched as long as your particles are on point. Okay? The last part, 지키려 했어. So 지키다 is to protect actually, but in this context it just means to keep. I want to keep you by my side instead of I want to protect you. Okay, so 지키려 했어요. So why doesn't it just say 널 난 지켜요 instead of why does it say 지키려 했어요? If you add a 려 하다 after a verb, it just means want. It's kind of like 지키고 싶어요. 지키려 했어요. It's like plan to or want to. Okay? So like a combination of both. Okay, so 지키려 했어요. I want to keep you.
Baby, I miss you. I miss you, girl. 돌아보면 바보 같지만 난 다시 그 자리에 I think about you. Think about me. 내 머릿속에 너를 그릴 때마다 Still think about you. Still think about me. 그때 그 시간 속에 멈출 때마다 I'm thinking about you.
Okay, so let's take a look at the last part of, just the chorus. There's lots of English. Obviously, I'm not going to translate that, all right? Look that up in the dictionary yourself. So, let's look at 돌아보면 바보 같지만, okay? 돌아보다. 돌아보다 is looking back, okay? 돌아보면, when you add a 면 in front of something, it's like if, okay? But in this case, it actually kind of means like when I look back. Okay, 돌아보면 바보 같지만, 바보 idiot 같지만, 같아요, 바보 같아요. When you put 같아요, it just means like, right? But 돌아보면 바보 같지만, when I look back, I'm like an idiot. But when you have 지만 at the end of something, it means but. what I mentioned before is Koreans like to end sentences with but. 좋아하지만 I like you but. In English, super annoying. Not so much in Korean. Very normal. Okay, and then here 난 다시 그 자리에. 난 is I, right? 다시 again, one more time, right? 그 that 자리에. 자리 is seat. Actually, 자리 can mean position as well. But yeah, actually, in this context, it means position. I'm in that position again. 난 다시 그 자리에 is a particle meaning, for a place. Okay, let's move right on. Okay, and this part very simple as well. 내 머릿속에 너를 그릴 때마다. So 내 is contraction of 나의, just means my. Okay, 나 is I, right? 의 is possessive. So 내 머릿속에, 머릿 is a head, 속 is inside. So 머릿속 is inside my head. And then the 에 is just a particle showing location. Okay, 내 머릿속에 in my head, 너를, you. Okay, 그릴 때마다. So 그리다 is to draw a picture. 그림을 그리다. Okay, it's one of those verbs where you usually have a noun in front of it, right? Just like 춤을 추다, right? Dance, dance a dance. 그림을 그리다, draw a picture. Okay, so 그리다. But if you add 때 after a verb, like 할 때, or 잠을 잘 때, or 먹을 때, it just means when I do it. Okay, so 너를 그릴 때마다, when I draw you. What does 마다 mean? 마다, we use it when we say every time. Okay, for example, 탕수육 먹을 때마다, every time I eat 탕수육, okay, 배가 아파요. Like my stomach hurts. Okay, 잠을 잘 때마다, every time I sleep, 너를 생각해. I think about you. Okay, so 를 때마다 is a very common combination. Okay, hope every time you hear it, you can pick it out. And remember, think about you. It has that as well. And finally, our last part of the chorus. 그때 그 시간 속에 멈출 때마다. Okay, so 그때 is at that time. We learned that in the beginning of the song, right? 그때 나는 이기적이었어요. At that time, I was selfish, right? 이기적이다 means selfish. So 그때 그 시간, 그 is that, 시간 is time. 속에, so 속, we learned that from 머릿속에, inside the head. So 그 시간 속에, inside that time. 그 시간 속에 멈출 때마다. So 멈추다 is to stop, and if you add 을 때, it means when. 마다 means every time when. Okay, so 멈출 때마다, right? Every time every time I stop in that time, at that moment. Okay, it doesn't really finish the sentence off, but I guess every time I stop at that moment, I think about you. I guess you can conjecture that. All right, and there we have it. We finished our lyric breakdown of Junkei's Thinking About You. Man, this is a very long video. Watch it a few times to get a feel for all the different grammar rules that are used here. Some of them are repeated, so that's good. Repetition will help you remember it, okay? But listen to this song a lot. He doesn't sing that fast, so I'm sure you can pick out a lot of the vocab and the grammar that he uses, okay? So again, if you have comments, requests, whatevs, let me hear about it, okay? How, YouTube comments, whatnot. All right, until next time, see ya.